Listen to what Allah says in the Quran about prying on your fears. He says, الشيطان يعدكم الفقر ويأمركم بالفحشاء والله يعدكم مغفرة منه وفضلا والله واسع عليم. The devil threatens you with the prospect of poverty and bids you to be shameful and bids you to do shameful deeds of stinginess, while Allah promises you forgiveness and great bounties from Him, and Allah is all bountiful, all knowing. The shaitan says to you, you're going to be poor, your family's going to be out on the street, if you keep doing this, what you're doing, you're going to end up losing your job. Look at your kids, look at your wife, look at your husband, look at your parents. What should I do? What should I do? What should I do? Go to the banks, get usury, get riba under any circumstance. Oh, more than that. Let's go and make a tobacco farm. Do you guys know why I mentioned that? This is in right now. Tobacco farms. And nicotine, which they put in vapes for young people to put toxicity and poison in themselves. And they do all these sorts of things in haram, stealing, theft, crime. Why? Why? Because the shaitan makes you afraid. This is going to happen to me, that's going to happen to me. Where's the tawakkul? Tawakkul on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala means to seek halal provision. Not haram provisions, brothers and sisters. Speaking about tawakkul, I did say that there's something called tawakkul. Tawakkul and what? Tawakkul. Tawakkul means to put your trust fully in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and do and exert every energy, every plan, summon every resource and every advice you can get and study all the ways and plan and rely on Allah no matter what the outcome is, even if you fail. However, there are people who have only tawakkul, which means they're doing little or nothing and they just rely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The scholars, they said, reliance upon Allah without taking into account the laws of cause and effect is disobedience to Allah. It's ma'asiyah. And relying only on cause and effect without relying on Allah is shirk. It's polytheism. Because you're making things in life as gods. Maryam alayha salam, in the Quran in Surah Maryam, while she was giving birth in labor, she was in labor and giving birth under a palm tree. You know the story in Surah Maryam when she gave birth to Isa alayhi salam. Allah says, فَنَادَاهَا مِن تَحْتِهَا أَلَّا تَحْزَنِي قَدْ جَعَلَ رَبُّكِ تَحْتَكِ سَرِيًّا وَهُزِّي إِلَيْكِ بِجِذْعِ النَّخْلَةِ تُسَاقِطْ عَلَيْكِ رُطَبًا جَنِيًّا فَكُلِي وَاشْرَبِي وَقَرِّي عَيْنًا. Allah says, and so while she was in labor under the palm tree, so a voice reassured her from below her. Do not grieve. Your Lord has provided a stream at your feet. Now listen. And shake the trunk of the palm tree. And shake the trunk of the palm tree. Shake the trunk of the palm tree towards you. It will drop fresh ripe dates upon you. So eat and drink and enjoy what Allah has given you. Did you guys realize something surprising here? What was it? Shake the trunk of the... You need an elephant, 2 elephants to shake the trunk of the palm tree towards you. This is not only not an elephant, she's a human, and she's a woman, and she's in labor, she's giving birth. Sisters who've given birth know. And she has to shake the trunk of the palm tree towards her. Can she? No, she cannot. She touched it. And Allah did the rest. But why did Allah still tell her to shake the palm? Why did Allah send the message through that voice to still shake the trunk of the palm tree? to teach us we still have to do our effort. Using our effort means that you are using Allah's resources, and tawakkul means to use what Allah gave you and to rely on Allah and the things you have no control over. That's why Allah brought this verse to us. Another example is Musa alayhi salam in Surah Al-Shu'ara verse 63. فأوحينا إلى موسى أن اضرب بعصاك البحر فأوحينا إلى موسى أن اضرب بعصاك البحر فانفلق فكان كل فرق كالطود العظيم. Then we revealed to Moses, commanding him, strike the sea with your rod. He had a stick, strike it. Thereupon the sea split up, and then each became like the mass of a huge mountain. Again we see Musa alayhi salam is standing at the ocean in the sea. Allah could have split the sea for him, but why did Allah tell him to strike it with his stick? To show us again, you still got to do the power and the effort which Allah gave you. You must do it. To teach us that part of tawakkul is to use Allah's resources that He gave us.
My beloved brothers and sisters, Shaitan works tirelessly to distract believers from the path of righteousness, and one of his most common tricks is the fear of poverty. He whispers thoughts of scarcity and loss, discouraging acts of charity and obedience to Allah. By creating anxiety about wealth and the future, Shaitan aims to weaken our trust in Allah and lead us towards selfishness and greed. However, his promises are empty lies meant to distance us from the blessings of Allah. In contrast, Allah promises us abundance and prosperity. When we obey Him and trust in His provision, Allah says in the Quran, Shaitan threatens you with poverty and commands you to immorality, while Allah promises you forgiveness and bounty. Surah Al-Baqarah, chapter 2, verse 268. Acts of worship, charity and reliance on Allah bring blessings to our wealth, health and overall life. Allah is the ultimate provider, and His promise is always true. Giving for the sake of Allah does not diminish wealth, it increases it. Charity, no matter how small, brings barakah to one's wealth, creating peace and contentment. By resisting Shaitan's whispers and trusting Allah's promise, we experience prosperity, not just in material wealth, but in our hearts and lives. Generosity builds a stronger connection with Allah and strengthens our faith in His unlimited provision. To overcome the fear of poverty, we must remind ourselves of Allah's promises and His infinite wisdom. Everything we own belongs to Him, and He provides for us according to His plan. By rejecting Shaitan's whispers and focusing on Allah's guidance, we develop gratitude, courage, and trust in His mercy. Prosperity is not just about wealth. It is about living a life filled with Allah's blessings, both in this world and the hereafter.